Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for 6 things that we learned from Al Hilal 0, Chelsea 1. Chelsea get the job done. It wasn't the most pretty way that we would ever see out a game. It wasn't the most consistent 90 minutes of football in terms of fluid attacking football, but we got the job done. We keep ourselves a clean sheet. Kepa once again, a little bit of a saviour, you could say, in that second half. Romelu Lukaku scores the only goal of the game. We're going to talk about Romelu Lukaku in today's video, but if you are not yet subscribed to GBFC, I would love to ask you to do so, and if you can also hit the like button for Chelsea making it to the Club World Cup final, then I will be a very happy man indeed. We got it done. It was a game for me of two halves. I think in the first half, Chelsea dominated. We were by far the better team, and in the second half, we kind of lost momentum. We stopped finding our forward players. I think when Ziyech came off with 20 minutes to go, I thought it might have been the right idea to bring on Mason Mount, but maybe I'd have taken off Lukaku in the second half. Although, because he scored, I think he stayed on. But I think in the second half, he kind of went back to that first 20 minutes of form where he just couldn't really get hold of the ball, couldn't impose himself on the game. And maybe it would have been less shaky from Chelsea if we'd have kept Hakim Ziyech on the pitch, because he was probably the most direct player alongside Kai Havertz, and then put Mason Mount on one of those two sides, or Havertz through the middle, Mount on the left, Ziyech on the right. But we got the job done, and it is thanks to the entire team effort. I think the back line played well, we were solid, and I think you could see that because Chelsea were the favourites, Al Hilal came into this game thinking, we've got nothing to lose here. You know, Matthias Pereira, formerly of West Brom, yes, I know, he scored twice at Stamford Bridge when they absolutely annihilated us, but we can forget that for a second, because he was one of their best players. Odion Ighalo, I thought, gave Rudiger, Thiago Silva, Christensen a tough time, but he never really got to fully impose himself or dominate any of our defenders. And then Marega, he was a bit of a bully the whole flipping night, but we managed to deal with him too. We get the job done, it is a 1-0 win. And if you don't know about the rules on 6 things we learned, a blue box is for the standout match winner, a green is for great things, a yellow are for things that didn't quite go our way, but with a little tiny bit of work could be improved, and a red is bad. But we begin today with box number 1. We begin with my personal man of the match, Kai Havertz. I thought Kai Havertz today was everything I've been waiting for. And when I say I've been waiting for it, I've been waiting for him to actually get a start more than anything else so that we can see that this kid is cooking. I thought today he was brilliant, and it seems to me that in these big games, Champions League final, we already know that story. It'll go into folklore in Chelsea history. But tonight, it's a semi-final. It feels like a final because you come into this and you know that you've got one game to give yourself, one game, and then all of a sudden, you're champions of the world. And I think Kai Havertz saw tonight the opportunity that he had. The Al Hilal defenders were very focused on making sure that Lukaku was marked, making sure that when Lukaku got the ball, there were players immediately swarming him, which means that Kai Havertz, more often than not, was given that opportunity of a 1v1. There was a moment in the second half where he almost scores an absolutely incredible goal. It's a fantastic run, little bit of skill, burn of pace on the left-hand side, with still about 40 yards worth of work to do. He gets himself to the byline, and he could have cut it back, but I almost like the fact that he was selfish, went for goal. If it was, well, I say if it was me, as if like I'd have even had a bloody chance to get in the position in the first place. If I'd have done it again, if I was Mr. Kai Havertz, I'd have either had an early shot, or I'd have hit it a little bit earlier than I did because the angle was against him. The keeper was either likely to make a save or the little dink that he tried hits the post because it wasn't a favourable angle. But overall, I think Kai Havertz's play was fantastic. I think his dribbles were silky. I thought the way that he dropped deeper in that first half to give more passing options to the likes of Jorginho, Mateo Kovacic, similar with N'Golo Kante in the second half too. I thought his all-round game today was absolutely brilliant. We move into box number 2. We spoke just now about Mateo Kovacic, how he linked up so well with Kai Havertz in particular in that first half. Kovacic is a special player. You know, when he's in these little moments where he's got players running at him, he seems to kind of just chop at the ball, use his strength to bully players away, and then he manages to progress it. There was a couple of times in this game where Kovacic picks up the ball, in just the end of Chelsea's defensive third, moving into that midfield sector that he was dominating. And he just keeps on going. If there's not a single pass on or no one's making those kind of Kai Havertz drop deep runs, or if Lukaku seems to be pinned down by the Al Hilal defenders, Kovacic has got the confidence to just run with the ball. I thought he was excellent tonight. I thought he got into positions in the final third very well too, and he dealt with the energy. We knew that this was going to be a tough game. They won 6-1 in that quarter-final, but as I said earlier, some of these players, you know, West Brom a season or two ago, it's mad to think about, but in matches like this, it is knockout football, and you've got to make sure that because the other team are going to be going for it, all hammer and tongs, you need people in the middle, like Mateo Kovacic, just putting in cynical fouls once in a while too, not underneath the referee's nose to the point where multiple yellow cards he gets sent off. But he was tenacious, he was going in for tackles, and he made sure that every single one of our opposition's players knew that they weren't going to get past him. But we move into box number 3. Even though we won, it's a semi-final, we're into a final. There is one blaringly obvious negative, in my opinion, from the performance tonight, and I've given a red to Marcos Alonso. Too many times in that second half when Chelsea were looking nervous overall because Al Hilal were going for it, they got nothing to lose. Marcos Alonso was caught facing our own goal, and once again we can see misplaced passes at times. When he's getting forward, Chelsea look as though the break would have been on. But Kai Havertz has kind of got to slow down because he's waiting for the train to go by. He's waiting for Alonso to get past. I feel as though I repeat myself quite frequently with Marcos Alonso, and it's been absolutely no surprise to anybody over the years, even when he signed. Marcos Alonso and pace were not two words that went in the same conversation in a double positive manner. Alonso can be great, but pace is never going to be something that we are slowly clapping him off the pitch for just being mind blown. You know what I mean? Marcos Alonso, don't think he was good enough. The left-hand side was where Al Hilal got the most luck in that second half. We looked really shaky on that side. Everything started going down the right, which meant that their players knew what was going to happen. Chelsea became predictable, and I think it's because that left side wasn't strong enough. We move into box number 4. Hakim Ziyech, once again, playing on that right-hand side, looking incredibly dangerous. There was a volley in the second half where if this would have gone in, it would have been another goal of the month contender. He had the brilliant goal he scored against Spurs, but this one would have been amazing. N'Golo Kante flips the ball over his head, absolutely schooling the Al Hilal defender. And then it ends up going Lukaku, rolls it off to Ziyech. It's kind of on the volley. It looks like it's going in slow motion towards the top corner, and the keeper manages to save it. But overall, what I loved about Ziyech in that first half was just how direct he was. Every time he got the ball, lovely bits of footwork, brilliant little intricate passes that nobody else on the pitch could have seen. And he's attempting everything, he's playing with confidence. And even though a few months ago, I was slating Hakim Ziyech here on this channel, in the past month or so, at least the last 6 weeks, Hakim Ziyech has brought everything that when we looked at what he did at Ajax, we wanted, we expected from him at Chelsea. And now he's become one of those players where, even though there's a lot of others I'd like to put in, I can't drop Hakim Ziyech from this team right now. I think he is that important. I thought he was brilliant, silky, smooth, delightful to watch today, the Moroccan wizard. We move into box number 5, and it is a green for Kepa. First half, he might as well have just got a deck chair out, enjoyed the Abu Dhabi scenery, got a bit of sunshine, even though it was dark late at night, but you know what I mean. There wasn't much to do. Second half, big save to deny Marega. And then the shot that came in from outside the box, my phone's going nuts over it. The shot that came in from outside the box, I'm thinking, this isn't Kepa's forte. This isn't Kepa's best when the shot's coming in, but somehow it is a phenomenal save. He gets all the way across. It's going in the top corner, puts it out for a corner. But these two moments, once again, I repeat myself all the time with Kepa because we always have to talk about him comparatively. Because in the past, we spent so much time talking about the mistakes. Now, Edouard Mendy, if he wasn't there, Kepa, if he wants to right now, he gets a top move. He's playing that well that so many clubs in Europe are going to want him. He's been fantastic since Mendy's been at the African Cup of Nations. He's back now in Abu Dhabi. But once again today, Kepa saved us in that second half. 2 massive saves. And we move into box number 6. and it is a green for Romelu Lukaku. I left it to the end because even though he scored the goal, I wouldn't say he was the most important player. I wouldn't say he was the most influential. I thought he was good today. Don't get me wrong. First 20 minutes, there were moments where I'm thinking, you know, he goes in with the wrong foot when he's about 3 yards out and he somehow misses. There was a good effort that was well saved. The goal is the right place, right time. But again, he's getting himself in those positions. He's trying to bully defenders, forcing mistakes out of the opposition. And then from that moment he scored, you can kind of see that it's a weight lifted off his shoulders. He started to play with more confidence. He started to get involved. He looked as though, finally, that he wanted to be out there. And this is the thing. I've slated Lukaku. I picked him alongside Havertz up front in my match preview if you saw it. But I also said in recent videos that I'd drop him. He's not been dropped. And I'm not going to sit there and see Lukaku's name on the team sheet and think, oh, great, he's up there again. That's not the kind of fan I am. When Lukaku scores now, it goes a long way towards removing the issues that he created and that made us fans feel so uncomfortable. If Lukaku keeps scoring, then we're all going to be smiling. I left him to the end today because although it wasn't a complete performance, I think that goal could be a catalyst for him to really resurrect what has become a messy part of his Chelsea career. But anyway, we're into the final. I'm absolutely buzzing for it. It's this weekend. Let me know the 6 things you learned from Al Hilal 0, Chelsea 1 in the comments down below. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. And I'll catch you guys later. Come on, you Blues.